Hello and welcome to our first A Chat With series at Michelin Scotland Innovation Park. So I'm Jill Simpson. I lead on our marketing and communications at MSIP. And today I am joined by our innovation director, Sarah Petrie. So hello, Sarah.
Hi, Jill.
Hi. So Sarah's got a really exciting role at MSIP, and today you're going to find out a little bit more about that. So to get started, Sarah, can you tell us a little bit about your role at MSIP?
Sure. So I am the Innovation Director at Michelin Scotland Innovation Park, and my role is all about building collaboration and innovation partnerships to drive innovation in sustainable mobility and decarbonisation. So that involves working with a number of partners, including universities and companies. And it also involves working with a wide network of support organisations across both Scotland and the UK at the moment.
That's great. And that's why you're so busy all of the time. There's
Yeah,
lots to
lots of
involved.
calls.
Yeah. So what is the thing that you like most about your job?
So I really like having the conversations with all our network partners. Everybody I speak to is really passionate about driving the change in sustainable mobility and decarbonisation and looking at doing something really tangible in addressing the drive to net zero. So it's really interesting to find out where our shared opportunities are and to see what we can do together to drive that.
No, that sounds great. So tell us something about about innovation at MSIP that our audience might not already know about.
So at MSIP, we've got a huge opportunity. We've got a wonderful site with all sorts of interesting infrastructure, including an abundance of green and sustainable energy. And that gives us a real opportunity to see how we can use that to help companies develop their products and take them to market. So really, really keen to see how we can use the park to support companies with demonstrating their technologies in a real world, safe and secure environment. So I'd be really interested in speaking with any companies who think they've got something to offer and would like to participate with MSIP in demonstrating their technologies.
That's brilliant, and I think hopefully we'll get a lot of interest with that because it's a really valuable project that we're scoping out.
Absolutely.
Um, so this last year's been very strange for most people. We've all had a balance of home working, homeschooling, and life has changed quite dramatically.
Indeed.
What is your most favourite thing about home working?
So my most favourite thing, I guess, is the flexibility it affords, that we can kind of work when we need to, or when we want to in some respects. So we've all got busy calendars, but there's the flexibility that not having to commute to work gives us, and the fact that we're at home, we can just nip downstairs and get a sandwich at lunchtime very easily, rather than having to make the packed lunch before we go out in the mornings.
Yeah, I mean that's great. The biscuit tin is an issue.
It's a huge issue,
Yeah,
yes.
I've had to move myself into a whole other room just to get away from that.
I've become even
But
more of a tea Jenny recently, which is terrible with the biscuits alongside that.
yeah, see, exactly. We all get our new habits. But no, it is. It's great to look at the positives because sometimes we get bogged down a little with the negatives. But what's the bit that you maybe don't like so much about homework, and what's your least favourite aspect of it? I think I know what the answer will be, but on you go.
I think my least favourite bit has to be the homeschooling in amongst work. That's a challenge. And I have huge sympathies for everybody who's in that position. I'm hoping it will come to an end very soon. And the other thing I'm not that keen on is the endless video calls. Whilst I love speaking to people and I love hearing about what we can do together, it's just endless video calls can be very, very draining each day.
Yes, I completely agree on both counts. The
Yeah.
homeschooling has been a challenge for most of us who've had to go through that and the balance and the constant feeding of children as
Yes.
well. They're never full.
Mum, can I have another snack, please?
Exactly. Yeah, we've all come up with new strategies and ways to try and focus on that. So in lockdown, then, what have you missed the most about normal working, about being in the office and that day to day?
Yeah, so normal working generally involves being in an office environment for me. And that environment normally has a number of our colleagues in it. And it's really nice to be in that environment, to see people, to be able to interact with them. Okay, you can't shake hands anymore, but the off the cuff chats that you can have with your colleagues can often be some of the most helpful and most valuable. And we've done really well at trying to give ourselves an opportunity to have those conversations, but nothing will be able to replace the kind of the opportunities that are presented by being in a physical location together. So
Yeah,
I do
and
miss that.
yeah, no, I do too. I think it's the balance, isn't it? It's nice to be at home and be able to be flexible, but
Yeah.
we do miss out on that, the socializing. I think we're all feeling that at all
Mm.
levels as well. So hopefully soon, Sarah, we'll be in the
Yes,
same
hopefully.
office again. That'd be exciting.
Rather than on a screen.
Yes, exactly. What have you missed the most personally then, outside of work? What have you missed with everything that's happened in the last year?
I think, like everybody else, it's just the opportunity to see friends and family and spend time with your family and things. It's been really hard, and additionally for the kids, they had a moment where they could actually spend time with their friends and things, and they were back at school. But actually hearing them laughing and playing with their friends in the garden is really tough at the moment because they just can't do that.
Yeah.
So they really miss their pals and things, and it's hard on them. But
Yeah.
we'll we'll get out of it eventually.
Yeah, I know we'll keep smiling, Sarah. Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
definitely. And I think that like yourself, we keep saying, well, we're at home and we're safe and we're together and we're
exactly.
very fortunate.
We're
But
safe
yeah,
and
roll
healthy.
on the school's opening and the children being able to all see each other again, definitely. And us as well.
Yes.
Hopefully one time soon. So there has been a lot of change and we've reflected on that. And that's, it's been personal and it's been business related and we've all had to adapt. And a lot of businesses have, been impacted massively by the global pandemic. What has changed at MSIP with everything that has happened globally with COVID-19 in the last year, specifically in your role as an innovation director?
Sure. Well, I had hoped to have an awful lot more physical activity on the site by now, but obviously with lockdown and the pandemic, that's just not possible. One of the most obvious changes that we've seen is the MSIP Accelerator Programme, which started in October last year. The start of that was delayed because we had originally planned to run it physically, where the companies could locate at the park and they could have that physical interaction with each other. We then made the decision that we would run it entirely virtually and online. So that first cohort is almost complete. They're just approaching the end of their first programme. And we've run that entirely online, and it seems to have worked really well and very successfully. So, one of the main things about the accelerator programme is the ability to interact with the other companies on the cohort. And we've managed to find ways to allow that and facilitate that to happen. Um, so it seems to have been very successful, and we're currently in the process of recruiting for our second cohort, and we hope to be able to run that just as successfully, if not more so, online again from April this year.
Oh, that's great. And yeah, it's great that it's something that we've still been able to deliver, isn't it? Because I know there was a
Yeah,
question mark, and it was delayed and it was delayed. And we
yeah,
got to the point, do we go ahead, do we not? And we thought, let's just get on with it and see how it goes. So it's really
exactly.
great to hear that, you've witnessed that from start to
Mhm.
end and it's been good.
And the companies have really embraced it, and they've come back and indicated just the value that they've got from the program. So it's really helpful to understand that, or it's great to understand that they've managed to get a lot from the program, even with it being delivered virtually.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's brilliant. And hopefully cohort two will be just as successful.
Yes, hopefully.
Exactly. So outside of MSIP, what are your observations on the changes that the global pandemic has put on the sustainable mobility and decarbonisation space? So the world that the industry that we work in,
Mm.
externally out with MSIP, have you noticed any big changes there recently?
Yeah, I guess with COP26 coming up as well, there's a real focus at a government level across the world on a green recovery from this COVID pandemic, and therefore that's really helping us to um, capture the opportunities that are presenting themselves around sustainable mobility and decarbonisation. And I think also on a kind of personal level, there's a lot more individuals and communities are looking much more closely at how they move in a much more sustainable way, whether that's buying electric vehicles or looking at active travel. It's changed the whole sector of mobility quite drastically, I think.
Yeah, no, that's good. And it's exciting to see for us, there has been really, a lot of sad impacts of the global pandemic, but we've been very fortunate, and a lot of the companies that we work with have been as well.
Hmm.
But it's great to see out with the world of business that people's behaviours and things have been reevaluated as a result. So you've got to focus on what the silver linings are
Yeah,
sometimes,
yeah,
particularly with
absolutely.
all the rubbish that we've had to deal with. So no, that's great to hear. So what is the first thing you'll do once the lockdown is done and the restrictions are over, and we're longing for that moment? What's the first thing you're going to do, Sarah?
First thing I'm going to do is go and see my family, because we're we're not that spread out, but we are kind of across Scotland, and we haven't seen each other for quite some time and haven't spent time together. So that's what I'm going to do. Um, I've also been exceptionally lucky with where I live. I live in a rural environment, and we've got lots of fields and things that we can run about and play in. So we don't need to worry about the kind of social distancing aspects that a lot of people have more to think about. But what I do miss is the sea, the sound of the
Yeah.
waves. So after visiting my family, I'm going to go to the sea and I'm going to go for a paddle, and I'm going to just enjoy the sound of the waves, I think.
That sounds brilliant. That sounds like a fun day out.
I
And it's
know.
something that we would take for granted before,
Exactly, yes.
and now it's just something we long for. I think mine's is I just want to sit in a restaurant or a bar and have a cocktail,
Yeah,
and someone like make it for me and do the dishes afterwards.
exactly.
Even some
A
food.
nice
It might get some food.
cocktail. A nice
Yeah, just
cocktail made by somebody else would be so much more tasty, wouldn't
yeah. Well, exactly.
it?
Yeah. So yeah, that's the moment I'm very much looking forward to. So this has been great, and we don't want to take up much more of your time. It's been great to find out a wee bit more about your role. If someone's watching this and they want to get in touch and they want to find out more, how do they get in touch with you, Sarah?
Sure. So please just get in touch. I think there'll be an email address at the end of this video. So please use that and get in touch and let us know what your thoughts are around innovation, or if you want to participate in the Accelerator programme, or have an idea around a demonstrator activity, please do get in touch. I'm on LinkedIn. Please look me up and reach out to me that way. Or you can also look me up on Twitter. And my Twitter handle is at Dr. CP.
Excellent. No, that's good. A good wee plug as well for the social media.
Yep.
Um, so yeah, that's brilliant. And just thanks so much, Sarah. Thanks for taking the time. I know how busy you are, but it's been great just to pause and reflect a little bit
Yeah, yeah.
on your role and what you do, because it is a really exciting time for us.
Yeah, no,
And
it's nice to chat it through and think about it slightly differently.
definitely. So thank you. Thanks to those who have watched. Hopefully you found it useful, and do please get in touch. So have a great day. Bye.